Welcome back. Welcome back to Flips Barbershop Sports Talk. Danny, what you think about this transfer portal going on in college football?
So, I don't keep up with it probably as much as I should. I'm not a big fan of that, but it is the game, and that's what it's going to be. I did hear that, there's a ton of Bama players that are bailing off.
Yeah, they are leaving since Nick Saban is leaving. So he left. So.
And, I think that, we have a really another local person here that did that. And I would love to have him on here too, Johnson from Duke.
Oh yeah, Brandon
so
Johnson.
He's going to the Ducks, right?
Going to Oregon, yes. Big.
And
that's a big jump.
Oh, and
big
good
jump.
for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be on the national stage,
competing
for a national championship. So I mean, kudos to him. He's well earned it. Really, probably could go in the draft this year and go high. But wish him the best. But I think that it opens a lot of doors for people. But I don't know what it's doing to the game.
I read a little article. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. That a guy is frustrated for high school kids because it's hurting the high school recruitment. Because their teams are entering, going in the transfer portal and getting kids that's got experience and leaving out the high school, hurting high school recruiting. So
it probably will. I just think you have to figure out which direction you're going. So, there's some big name schools who have not typically went to the portal.
Yeah.
They kind of brought their own in-house. But I will tell you that it changes the game.
But it's helping. It's helping the teams.
It's helping the teams. But really, Duke Blue Devils basketball program started at 10 years ago.
Yeah.
They had a player for 1 year or 2 years. And then whenever they jumped to the NBA, they had already 10 more just like them coming in. But they didn't have to go through a portal.
Yeah.
So what they were able to do because of that winning, now people can do that same thing.
Yeah.
They can, it used to be like you have a year where you're really building, and then the next year you're okay, and then for 2 years you're pretty good. You lose all that, you start back over.
Yeah.
Now it's instant gratification.
Yeah.
You can be good right now if you got the backers to pay that money.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned the Oregon Ducks.
Yeah.
I mean, just not Brandon Johnson, but they got like 5 recruits from the transfer portal coming in. I mean, immediately going to help them, start really.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's crazy, and but it is what it is. That's what that game has turned to, and I don't know. I'm better with the portal than I am the bowl game scenario. I mean, it's a waste of time to go watch those bowl games.
I think I mentioned it to you, John, that I think I would put in that you could only transfer one time.
Yeah, I think that would help with a few circumstances.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I know that people are going to dog, our wide receiver from North Carolina. He did it twice.
Yeah.
But one of them,
death
in the family, and there were some circumstances.
Yeah.
So I think you can do it once, and then you can appeal for special circumstances to the NCAA.
No, I agree with that. John, what's your opinion on it?
Well, I'm going to brag a little bit because Ohio State got the safety from Alabama that was in the transfer portal.
Yeah, definitely. It's helping other teams.
A 2024 quarterback that had committed to Alabama, and he jumped ship, and he's coming to Ohio State. And we've got Will Howard from Kansas State. So, I mean,
it's helping the Buckeyes.
It's going to help us. I mean, I don't know if it's going to put us over
like
the
they
top.
need help. Come on.
Well, the last few years we have, because we can't beat Michigan and we can't win a college football playoff game, and eventually that's going to catch up with Ryan Day if he doesn't start.
Yeah, you got to beat Michigan.
That's your goal: is beat Michigan, win the Big Ten.
One good thing for you guys, John, is Harbaugh might be leaving. So,
well, the thing about that is when your level's that high, when the bar is set so high that the only way you're going to be successful is to win a national championship.
Yeah,
it's a tough. I mean, ain't but 2 or 3 of them schools that's going to do that.
Yeah.
So for me, the only other thing I'd ask about the portal is, if a person leaves that school that they gave them a scholarship, they're making that money.
Yeah.
I think they should at least have to pay back the school for the scholarship funds that they spent while there.
Yeah,
Yep,
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
me.
But well, we going enough of the transfer portal.
Man, I'm still on football.
You still on football?
I'm still
and
on
and that's what
NFL
we're going to
football.
talk about. We're going to talk. What about these NFL coaching changes?
man, they're all over the place. And we talked about that last week. There was, it's like playing spades. What's your hand look like? Well, I got 6 and maybe 2 possibilities. And so we got 6 coaches are out, 2 more that might be out. Talking about this deal, that deal. I see where the pieces of the puzzle are starting to come together. I feel like Belichick in Atlanta.
You think he's going to Atlanta?
I do think he's there. He's had 2 interviews. Who are you going to interview that's better than him? And I think that there's some things in the work. Atlanta's got a lot of good pieces, and he's going to a place, if that happens, where a couple things here or there, and they could do something.
The only thing they don't have a quarterback unless they got somebody in mind that's going to come in.
Well, they might. I mean, there's going to be a few of those available too. Maybe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I keep hearing Justin Fields to Atlanta.
So I agree, and you got a top 5 running back.
Yeah.
You got
tight end.
You got a tight end. You got a wide receiver who's coming around, had a pretty good year. Defensively they need some help. A lot of people do, but there's a lot of those. But I will tell you, the ones that jump off the map for me the most, and I'm not going to surprise anybody here, is lots of teams have options. Yeah. I don't see anything that's going to help the Panthers. Like I see it's like after a war and they put those reconstruction plans in for the next 5 years. It's going to take us back 5 years to get all the power lines. But it's going to take the Panthers at least 3 years. They have nothing coming in the draft. They sold out on the drafts with that trade with the Bears. They don't really have a line that can support the play of a quarterback or a running game or even a passing game. Their defense, I'll give them a heads up. They're okay on that, but they're hurting everywhere.
Tepper has money. He better use them on the offensive line.
So does Jerry Jones.
Yeah,
that's true. There's a couple things you can't buy. I mean, you can buy the athletes here and there, but with the stipulations that they have, you can't just go out there and say, hey, I want this person. You got a salary cap, you got the draft, you got all this other stuff, and it's hard. It's pretty tough. He needs to get some good general manager. Speaking of which,
they did get Dan Morgan.
Former Carolina Panthers, probably one of the best 3 that they've had. I would say Dan Morgan, Kuechly, and Mills, probably. And they've had listen, Thomas. I mean, they've had a couple linebackers that are pretty good, but Dan Morgan's been hanging around that organization for a while.
Yeah.
So hopefully he does some good stuff, but he's only going to be as good as the owner allows him to expand.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way it is.
I keep hearing that Tepper. People keep saying Tepper cares more about soccer than football.
Well, how'd that work out for him either? So listen, I want you to know that Charlotte has no winners.
No, they don't.
The basketball team, they just made a terrible trade, I think. Gave away a very good basketball player for a number 1 draft pick in 2027.
Yeah.
So people in Charlotte don't want to win in 2027. They want to win in 2024,
well, I don't think
25.
that's happening. That ain't happening.
No, it's not happening. And listen, again, I love Michael Jordan. But just because he's the greatest player ever, and he is the greatest player ever,
I agree,
does not make him a general manager.
No.
Jerry Jones, Tepper, all those folks, they need to get some help.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, Charlotte basketball, soccer, baseball, football, they got nothing.
Yeah. There ain't a winner. In fact, I was watching the news the other
Checkers
day.
are the best team in Charlotte. The Charlotte Checkers.
Charlotte Checkers.
Hockey,
Right.
minor league hockey.
He's right.
Is better, and it's a better thing to go watch.
I've never been to a hockey game.
It is awesome. You can drink beer and you can smash up against the daggum hand and watch them get in a fist fight. They got cheerleaders. They got everything, man. It's a great show.
John, you ever been to a hockey game?
I have not.
Yeah, maybe we need to put that on our bucket list.
Maybe
I've never been.
We should talk about the Canes now. The Canes down in Raleigh now. That's the only thing winning in Raleigh too. No offense to Wolfpack fans, but
man, Wolfpack basketball. They say y'all beat them this year already, hadn't you?
Oh yeah.
Man, we ain't played them yet, have we?
No.
Okay.
Listen, they're not bad though. I will say that.
Yeah,
I just think that these NFL teams, some of them have a lot more work to do than the Bucs. So I do know that just because I'm a Bucs fan, I know our offensive coordinator is getting shopped around to a couple different places. I know he interviewed with Carolina for the Panthers.
He's young. This is y'all first year, ain't he?
Yeah, and the thing I like about him is if you look at the line that we started with, and ability, and bringing in Baker Mayfield off of what he just came from, I think he put them in a position where they could not worry as much about protection, get rid of the ball quick, try to find some holes, throw it out of the backfield, and try to get the ball downfield.
He had a great year.
NFL comeback player of the year, by far.
And they already said that they're ready to re-sign him.
Well, wouldn't you for $1 million? He paid him $1.1 million, and because they made the playoffs, he did get a bonus of $1 million. So, yeah. So good for him.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I agree. Well, John, also we're talking about coaching changes. One thing that ain't going to change is John's Pittsburgh Steelers. Old Mike Tomlin. I tell you what, he's never had a losing season though. He's never. That's unbelievable.
No, but so when you win 5 Super Bowls, there's an expectation.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to have to get back there. And it all starts at their quarterback position.
Yeah.
And they have not been able to fill that void. And, there's a couple things out there, but I love the interview like a week or two ago, maybe the last game.
He walked away.
Yeah, they said,
they asked him about his contract, and he just
walked away.
Yeah,
he's all business on the field, but I think that one thing he does have is the respect of his players.
Yeah. They do play hard for him. They do
play hard.
John wants to bring back Ben Roethlisberger.
I bet being as big as the daggum house right now.
I know T.J. Watt said that he wouldn't if they let Mike Tomlin go. That's the reason he signed his contract, is because he said he would play for nobody but Mike Tomlin. And there's a couple others that have said that, and I did see where they are going to offer Tomlin an extension.
Right.
So.
And I'm okay with that. I think people should probably be a little more patient. Probably the head coaches get too much credit when they win and too much blame when they lose.
Yeah.
But
I do agree. We probably do need to at least get back to a Super Bowl.
You got to win.
At least win a playoff game.
You got to win.
Yeah.
I mean, the Lions could ride these 2 playoff games that they got for a while.
Yeah.
But I think they can make it to the ship.
Oh yeah, they can. They can.
They're well.
I like Dan Campbell.
Yes.
I like Dan. Them boys, them, you talking about players play hard for coaches. They do play hard
for
Dan
not just
Campbell.
that. So forever, nobody would ever go for anything on 4th down. This year, more teams went for 4th downs, and the Lions probably lead the charge. I mean, like, it was crazy. I mean, now the other night, the Bills, man, that 4th down they went for, that was a killer. I mean, it was unbelievable, a killer. But
speaking of Bills, we got one of their biggest fans here, and but the young man works for the Chicago Bears. Yeah. So we're going to take a small break, and we're going to talk to Luke Bowe. All right. So catch us on the flip side.